I don't know if it's like this that you have been wondering for a long time. What's with this guy? Because what I'm thinking about now is that you might already be aware that I have been, as I narrated earlier, I have been playing Starfighter 3000, and apart from that, I've been playing After Burner, and apart from that, one of my favorite games ever made is Dark Side. Likewise, Star Wars 32X. So this brings us for today. Today's evening with 32X was spending time with this game. It's Stellar Assault. And when you have seen the other videos I made, maybe because you're just thinking, oh, this guy, he's into flight simulator related games or pinball games. Because that's how it looks at the moment, yeah. Because I sold some games earlier on and I got myself this Shockwave Assault and Starfighter 3000, as I said. And what has Stellar Assault to offer when you're thinking about it? Well, apart from this, looking at it, it's a worn out box. It's actually a. Alright, it was difficult to find it to start with. I had to look at different places and I had to do it via eBay actually. But I think it's the difference between it and other games is that it's not difficult to. When I played it just a few times, but like this time it's been a long time gone since I played it the first time, and I still felt that the targets that you had to find. I mean, there were enemies here and there, but the actual targets that you had to handle to complete the mission was not too difficult. And I actually felt I could relax more playing it. It was the last time I played it and got somewhere, and it was when I could sit back and relax during one evening. So this is the thing is the evening with 32x concept is developing now, and today's tonight's event was Stellar Assault. And while it isn't the only game in the genre which is easy to get to handle with full control, it is one of the best. Um, yeah, I mean it's one of the best in a way because you can get into it pretty fast. To get into Star Wars 32X means you have to play the training mode to start with, and well, what I told you about this the Starfighter 3000 game is that well, you can play it in a worry-free way, as I did, but you need to learn how to handle the velocity step by step because what I did that was wrong when I played Star Wars. Not Star Wars. Star Wars was the problem because it is a difficult game, but Starfighter 3000 is it's hard to figure out the aim of the game just as you try. The first time, but the first time trying it was still a great game because I felt a lot of freedom learning from the ground up what to do. And then when I found the step on the gas button, it what ended up as being playful and caretaking in a worry-free manner meant you have to start to be more sensitive and more methodical if you want to get anywhere in that game. Stellar Assault, on the other hand, is well, it's 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 easy to be in control of the ship during the whole time. That itself is not difficult, but what's difficult is that you must remember what I didn't at it today or the other times when I played that. What you need to be able to focus on is learning how to maneuver around without crashing into anything. And if you're attacked, you need to be ready to use the shields. So that is a different. There's a different factor moving into that, but it's pretty. if we look at Starfighter 3000, which seems to be a openly directive um, step-by-step kind of game with that kind of gameplay, because I realized when finding the maximum velocity button, that was one thing, but it led to me having to think about what I was doing, because I started to crash and it ended up into one crash and then into another crash. So I mean, what's with stellar results is that you get into the actual, you get on a move on fairly straightforward, and it's not, and it manages to be a varied game still, because there are other factors into it that makes it interesting, but it has a certain flow that you get into. And comparing to being in control of what you're doing when you're playing Afterburner, this is much more forgiving when you move around methodically, and if you find that you can't find a target, you go back, you just turn around, and I could actually feel I was in control of what was happening more than in most of other games this genre. I mean, maybe Starfighter 3000 was the best game in the genre in some ways, but then the step-by-step method that you need to apply will demand a lot more from me. So I had to read the manual on that one and try to go into it with a more open mind, and not to go in to achieve great things when I'm just starting up. But I need to be comfortable with the actual playing experiences to get onto what is the basic idea of the gameplay on a larger scale. Whereas in Stellar Assault, uh, you press start and off you go. There isn't really I mean, learning how to control the plane is not the ship. Sorry, knowing how to learn to control the ship is not the big issue. It's being prepared for anything, because in some passages of the game you have to look for targets, and in other parts of the game you are being attacked. So you can learn how to optimize the view from a first person perspective, or when you actually see the ship. And if you want to gear into um, how to shoot at a far distance, you will have some room to learn, try out different concepts as you go. And I mean, there's choice between playing easy or hard. I decided to start on playing easy so that I could be more patient with myself, and I completed the first mission, and it felt like in no time. So therefore, I was feeling ready for whatever was coming at me, because you're never in a rush playing Serial Assault. I mean, Afterburn, that's a different thing, because it's more intense. But Stellar Assault is a good game in the sense that, alright, it isn't the most action filled game out there, but this easy to apply gaming model makes you feel that you can be very strategic without risking too much, um, because that's how this game works out. And I would actually recommend anyone who has the chance to play games via the 32X to try Stellar Assault, because it doesn't look much when you look at it like this. It's a broken box, and I mean it's not the most advanced game graphically, but it has a certain character, a certain flow that is really nice to achieve, and you can hold down the brake button if you want to, take it slow, or you can risk a little bit by accelerating, but that will make it harder to navigate the ship, or so, for sure. But if you're already aware of that, then there is nothing to complain about really. It's a good game. All right, it isn't very colorful, but neither is Dark Side, and neither is Star Wars, because it's a pitch black space kind of space shooter. And it's very, the flight simulator is very special here. I will go back to talking about some other games later on, but as you know, this was evening time with 32X, was Stellar Assault this time. So next time I will be playing something else. And if you think the only thing I have in is flight simulators and puzzle, yeah, I mean not puzzle, I mean pinball games, Well, then I have to tell you that I actually sold 4 games this week, and I have received one of the games that I've been waiting for a wee while, which is in a totally different genre. But I will tell that in the next having a good morning no episode, which is probably around Saturday or Sunday. Thank you very much. This is what I think. So we look into that. Take care and everything.